Hello everyone, my name is David Hennig. I'm Associate Professor in the Department of Cultural Anthropology at Utrecht University, and I'm also the coordinator of the Master's Program Cultural Anthropology, Sustainable Citizenship. I'm very happy to be able to talk to you through this video presentation. Unfortunately, we can't meet in person under the current circumstances, but hopefully this video presentation will give you a sense about the program and what you can do with your degree if you decided to study sustainable citizenship. So what I'm going to do in this presentation. First, I will say a few words about the program, how it is structured and how it works. Secondly, we are lucky to have one of our students, Mary, who will share her experiences with the program. And finally, my colleague Ike will tell you a little bit more about what you can actually do in terms of employability and professional development. So, before I will do that, I want to say a few words about the program, where it is located, and what we do as anthropologists. So the program Sustainable Citizenship is based in the Department of Cultural Anthropology at Utrecht University. The Department of Cultural Anthropology has a long tradition of studying social, economic, cultural, political transformations. And of course, the topic of sustainability as one of the most challenging transformations that the world is facing today is an ideal place for exploring what are the social, cultural, political ramifications of these changes. All our colleagues in the department are research active, and they bring this expertise to the class to explore these questions with you in their courses. The program Sustainable Citizenship explores the relationship between citizenship and sustainability. But as anthropologists who study how people experience and live with these big ideas such as sustainability, we study sustainability not only from the conventionally understood environmental perspective, but we are also interested in the social, economic and cultural dimension of the idea of sustainability. And as anthropologists, we work on the ground, as we say, with people and how they actually live with the consequences of these ideas. And we want our students to do something similar. So that's why we put a great emphasis on ethnographic fieldwork, and students can learn about these things through conducting their individual research projects. To give you just a few examples of recent projects completed by our students, for example, explored what does it mean to live in the shadows of a nuclear power plant, what are the consequences for local communities in rural Ireland of energy transition to the wind energy, or what does it mean for rural farmers in Portugal to actually negotiate conservation policies imposed on them at the national and international level. So what will you actually do in the program? Since many of you will be coming from abroad, I think it's actually very important to explain how the academic year here is organized. So the academic year has 2 semesters, but each semester is divided into 2 periods of roughly 6 to 7 weeks. So the teaching is organized within these individual periods. In the program Sustainable Citizenship, most of the teaching is organized in semester 1, period 1 and 2. This also means that all your coursework will have to be completed in semester 1, whereas semester 2 will be the time that you will spend on your individual research projects and writing your thesis. In period 1, the main emphasis is on the core theoretical courses, which are the Anthropology of Globalization and Sustainability and Social Contestation. We also put an emphasis on training in research methods. So the third course that you will need to complete in period 1 is doing ethnography. The combination of these 3 courses should equip you theoretically, analytically, but also methodologically to start thinking carefully from the beginning about your individual research projects, what you would like to do. And you will have already from the beginning an opportunity to talk to us and your prospective supervisors about your ideas, what you would like to do. In period 2, you will further deepen your knowledge of theories, concepts, and methods. So the core course for this period is Violence, State, and Sovereignty. Research design, that you will start, that's the moment when you will start developing your individual research project. And you also will have an opportunity to take an elective course, either from the department or from the university. So if you would like to explore anything related to your individual research project, you can take an elective course that will actually help you to deepen your knowledge about the subject. All these courses that I just mentioned are usually a mix of lectures, guest lectures, seminars, weekly film screenings, and in terms of workload, you will be asked to do the weekly readings, some short written exercises, weekly exercises. Usually there is an essay, long essay for each course that you will submit at the end of each period, and each course usually ends with a take-home final exam. If you have more questions about the workload for these individual courses, you can always contact me. You will find my contact details at the end of the presentation, and I would be happy to answer your questions about any of these courses. In period 3, you will then go to the field, as we say in anthropology, and you will carry out your individual research projects. During this period, you will be in your field site and you will maintain an interaction with your individual supervisors that you will be assigned to. And in period 4, when you will come back from the field, you will be working with your supervisor on your final dissertation. During the 4th period, there will be also an opportunities for you to interact with other lecturers to discuss the process, how to analyze your data, how to put things together in your dissertation. During this program, we also have one course about which you will hear a little bit later in this video, which is focused on your professional development. And this is a course that actually runs throughout the whole academic year. What I have outlined so far is how the program runs under normal circumstances. But we don't live under normal circumstances, we live in the middle of the pandemic. And it means that we have had to change some of the parts of the program for the upcoming academic year. What we have changed is that all teaching will be online, and we also had to make some changes to individual research projects that students will carry out. So under the current circumstances, all students based in the Netherlands are allowed to carry out their projects in the Netherlands, and all students who are taking the degree remotely from abroad are allowed to work on their projects in the country where they live or reside at the moment. But unfortunately, we can't let students to work in other locations. And we hope that this will not continue to the year after next, and we will be able to resume our program as we are used to. So far, you heard a lot about the program in abstract terms, and luckily, we have one of our students, Mary, here. I'm really thrilled that she's taking part in this video, and she will tell you a little bit more about her experiences of actually studying the program and what it meant to her. So, hello, Mary.
Hi.
I would like to ask you first, why did you actually decide to come to Utrecht? Why did you decide to study sustainable citizenship?
Yeah, so I had gotten my bachelor's degree in anthropology and sociology with a minor in international studies. So I'd been really interested in it. And I'd been working in international ed and kind of navigating, but I knew I wanted to get my master's degree. And in the US, I wasn't really finding programs that fit exactly what I wanted. And our perception is kind of that, especially in the Netherlands, there's doing a lot more innovation in sustainability. And I thought it would be more valuable to have kind of a broader idea of sustainability and what that meant within the role of citizenship. Mm-hmm. So I found the program in the Netherlands, which I already loved because of like the bike scene and everything. It kind of fit exactly what I wanted for my quality of life. And then, it just kind of worked out perfectly that it was a very niche thing for sustainable citizenship, but it really, it married my own passions and things I was interested in and could further my education. So it magically worked out and to be the best one.
Great. And how did you find the program when you come here?
Yeah, I think it came at weirdly a perfect time because it helped me understand and navigate what was going on in the world. I think if you're interested in anthropology, typically you're interested in learning the larger structures and systems in place and understanding how people are doing and cultures are reacting to certain things. So while things have taken a turn in other ways, I felt like I had a better understanding of the world as a person. And then I feel like it prepared me more for actually doing something about it. I had my basic bachelor's education, which gave me foundation, but then to have a master's education in it. And through this program, I felt like, I'm a bit more prepared and have actually thought in a more meaningful way about these topics so I could go out and be a professional to make an impact.
Great. And how about the courses? How did you find the courses, lectures?
I love them. And it's not just because I'm talking to you, but I really loved the social contestation course. I found that so interesting. And again, it kind of touched on a lot more sustainability practices and issues and inequalities that I was very interested in, but didn't have, again, the bandwidth in my own education before to kind of delve into. And then I really loved the security and sovereignty course. That was I just thought it was so darn interesting. And the professors are really interesting and everything. I just found it very engaging and smaller classes, which is something I was used to. And so it kind of was a perfect fit in that regard because you could engage in a conversation, have questions. It wasn't you're in this giant lecture hall. And I felt we were all building a network of little anthropologists that were going to make a difference in sustainability practices. And so I don't know, it felt like a safe space to learn and navigate those tough topics. Because some of them it wasn't cheery, and we'd always have the harder topics to navigate, but it was nice to know that we were doing it with the intention of having a greater impact, I guess.
Great. I mentioned already in my presentation so far that we put quite a lot of emphasis on individual projects, and you obviously just completed your individual research project. So what was your research project about, and how did you enjoy it, and any highlights from your research?
So my project was pretty wild, but it was very meaningful. I worked in the Hambach forest, and so I focused on the Hambe-Bliet occupation, which is a political occupation there that's kind of around climate justice and anti-capitalism. And so it's essentially eco-activists, which are occupying trees in the form of tree houses so they can't get cut down. And they've been there for nearly a decade now. And so I wanted to go, and kind of the scope of my research was on eco-activism and the use of hope as a tool that they use to create their own perceptions of the future and what maybe the future of climate justice was looked at or the world would look like, I guess, if you're thinking big.
Yeah.
And so that was the scope of my research. I lived there for nearly 3 months, which luckily things weren't very disturbed for me because I was in such an isolated spot, again, hiding in the trees like a little squirrel. But I met some of the most interesting people, and I felt like I was prepared, like all the conversations about our research and things like that, like while no one's really prepared for research, like I felt like I went in with the expectations of being, like having to learn on the go as well. But it was wild and it was interesting. And I did really great ethnographic research and made relationships with people that I think that was the most important. I recently just had some people visit me from the forest. They came out of the forest to visit.
Nice.
So overall, it was very meaningful to my own life. And I think giving the freedom to pick your own project was an opportunity that I could do something I was passionate about, that again, I wanted to shed light on for people that maybe weren't aware of those kind of occupations, while also having it, I don't know, be a part of my own research development as like an anthropologist to gain those skills. So it was a nice opportunity overall. Great.
And how did you find in general the university and the city of Utrecht?
So I think I'm #1 fan. It was exactly what I thought. On paper, it's very like methodical, like the biking, the quality of life. I think a bit more attention to sustainable practices, especially from I live in a sustainable spot in the US, but it was a lot more enhanced here and a different culture around it, which I wanted to experience. So I loved that. I loved all like the green space around Science Park, which is kind of funny because it seems so like man-made, but outside like there's the sheep and the forest and everything. So I spent most of my time there. But yeah, it was a very happy place to be. It's very welcoming, even in like these strange times. Again, like it just, yeah, it really fit, and it's nice, and I'm staying forever. I'm trying to be a Dutch girl. So I have committed to try and like build my career here. Yeah. So I'm sold.
Great, because my final question actually was about your future plans. So do you have anything more specific lined up at the moment, apart from staying in the Netherlands?
Yeah, so right now I'm doing pro bono consulting for an environmental rights like law organization. And so that was something while I was finishing my thesis and like starting the job hunt, I wanted to expand on things that I learned throughout kind of the program and my research, things that I newly found out I was passionate about. And so I think maybe going in that direction. And so I'm doing that kind of volunteer work in interim while I start looking for more opportunities. But again, in Utrecht, there's so many people that you can talk to have informational interviews with and like find out more. And like there are people from ACPRO that like came in to talk about like their experiences. So there's a lot more channels here, I think, if you are interested in sustainable citizenship as the broad umbrella term, but like there's a lot more ways you can talk about it than I think in a lot of places like where I came from. So it makes sense to stay.
Great. Yeah. Well, good luck with that, and thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ike Eikemans and I'm the coordinator of the academic professional program in the master. As my colleague David already mentioned, in this program we will focus not on the theoretical part of anthropology, but on your professional opportunities and options and your development in that sense. So in the academic professional program, we invite you to talk about and think about what kind of anthropologist you would like to be or you would like to become. And we explore the possibilities through different kinds of activities. For example, in the first seminar of the program, we will invite some of our alumni to tell you about their professional development, about what they are doing right now, and what steps they took to get there, why they like it so much, etc., etc. And in other meetings, we will discuss professional ethics, but also best practices about how to apply for jobs. When you finish the master program, you will get an assignment, for example, to have a coffee date with a professional to explore the possibilities and to extend your network as well. And you will have the opportunity to discuss all your professional development activities with your peers. And by the end of the year, you'll have a portfolio summarizing your skills, your interests, your professional identity, and you will have an idea of the options that you have for after your graduation. So, Mary, could you tell us a little bit about what you took away from the academic professional program last year?
Yeah, so I think one of the greatest parts of it was it kind of throughout the whole course, like, so it started early and then like integrated within. I was learning a lot of skills of how to develop myself as an anthropologist in a professional way. There's things that we did like a job orientation plan, which I thought was mind-blowing to me because I had never really planned ahead of like, oh, strategically, like how I could get where I wanted to be. And I think so many times we hear in anthropology, like, what are you gonna do? And so I think that was the easiest way to break it down, to be like, oh, if I want to work in this field of sustainability, then I can go meet this person, talk to this person, build a network, go to this event, go to like the green office here, something like that. And it was very methodical, and that was one of the better things that I got from it, I think. And then again, throughout the process, kind of building my own identity as a professional within this network of anthropologists and guidance was really vital and crucial, I think, and one of the best takeaways, I think, of doing the master program.
Yeah, so you recently handed in your thesis, and we have talked about this before, right? There's almost never a vacancy where they ask for an anthropologist specifically. So did the program help you to like know where to look right now?
Yeah, so initially I had no darn idea what I wanted to do, especially I wanted to further my education from like my master's and then do my fieldwork. And I think through the fieldwork, that was a really important part of learning what I was interested in and how it could be practically applied, especially being a researcher and then developing a research project around it. And then having some of like the alumni come back and using their context of what they were doing, how they got there was super important. And that was something I think it happened early in the program that I just remembered throughout, that knowing like, again, there's little steps of doing things you're interested in and then you'll find something more. So I think in that way, I definitely kind of narrowed down my search of what I was interested in. Like I want to be in sustainability and I want to work with people in that way because I have those skills already from like ethnography and building rapport, and it's something I think I got good at through the program. And so I think navigating that to find a position that works well, but it does take the little steps of networking and talking to people, especially using our resources like our professors. Huge. That's like, I would say, one of the better parts of everything, because you are building a network initially just being in the classroom and with your peers who are all like, we can all help each other be anthropologists in our own right.
Thank you for sharing your experiences with us, and I wish you all the best in looking for this career that you wish for. If you would like to know more about what our alumni are doing, you could visit our website, and I can also mention you some examples. Our students end up in very interesting and diverse careers. Many of them go work in the NGO world, some in education, some in research, could be applied or academic research. Some of them end up in governmental organizations, or people create their own jobs and start their own companies. For example, as a sustainability consultant for organizations, or as an organizational change facilitator. If you would like to know more, please take a look at our website or send me an email. I'm very happy to answer all your questions.